basis at school, not learning. I spent the whole school day learning about how to deal with my dyslexia.
Yeah, that becomes your focus.
That was my focus.
Yeah.
I didn't want anybody to know I couldn't read.
Yeah.
So I was already timing as a child all the times about, okay, so that person's going to read, that will take them 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There'll be 2, so by the time they get to me, I need to be out of here in 50. I mean, all of that is going on in my mind at a 14-year-old. I'm not taking in the lesson at all. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get out of the lesson.
Yeah.
It's all strategy.
Yeah.
And other techniques and tactics that you come up with as a child to not let anybody know that you are dyslexic.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the adults that I've spoken to that have gone on to be very successful adults have all said the same thing. They spent their entire childhood not letting anybody know they're dyslexic.
Yeah.
Which brought out so many other skills in them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's where the creative side comes in, because we're trying to navigate away from something and then something else.
As a child, yeah. And like you say, the teaching of the dyslexic, when I read some old school reports of mine, so I was probably about 10, and they were saying, that I was obviously having extra tuition, but the extra tuition wasn't working because the extra tuition is in the old way, which is, it wasn't, so all that extra, the only time I think I really learned to manage my dyslexia as I grew into an adult is constantly we're not reading, but in jobs, you pick up. Yeah. It's never stopped me in any of my jobs. I've walked into jobs saying I'm dyslexic. Yeah. But all jobs have their own language. Yes. So once you know the language of the job, that's right, you get on with it. But dyslexia it just means you have to work harder at anything you do.
Yeah, and practice.
Constant.
And practice, and the more
repeat.
you practice,
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good one. Repeat.
It's
you have to be able to repeat whatever it is. The reading, the words, communication, whatever it is. Pronouncing a word, it's repeat. Where somebody can do it the once or the second, we have to do it 50 times, 100 times before it gets in. To our brain. And even that, it could still go. One day could be a day where I just can't remember.
Yeah, it's gone.
And then the next day, it's come back again.
So when you're thinking of the word, if it's a new word, because this is how I've always, if it's a new word that I've not seen before, I can't see it in my mind's eye. And if I can't see it in my mind's eye, I don't know how it's said or spelt. Yeah. Especially when it's a difficult one that can start with an A or an O, or my classic F, which is a F as far as I was concerned, or a PH. Yeah. Who put PH there? Why would you do that? It just confuses people. So this is what I'm saying. But if it's not in my mind's eye, I can't even say the word. Never mind spell the word. So that has an effect in sentences. If I'm, it depends on if I'm speaking to somebody. If I'm speaking to somebody and they're very educated and I want to put in some big words, I can't because I can't see them in my mind to say them. I don't even know what they start with. Yeah. So for a child, do I remember that? I'm thinking, do I remember that? Because that's only as an adult looking into dyslexia and looking at how it affects me personally in my life and how I see it. So how would that be associated as a child then? I mean, I can't really remember. I can't remember that far back. The only thing I remember is I was pretty happy-go-lucky and I didn't really like to be in school.
Yeah. For me, I loved being in school more for the friends, to be honest. Yeah. Joking about laughter. I had a lot of friends as well. And my thing was, because I was epileptic as well, everything was put to that. So me forgetting words, me forgetting things, it was like, oh, it's the epilepsy, it's the epilepsy. And what I found by understanding about the brain with dyslexia and epilepsy and ADHD, all of them is to do, labels, it's all to do with the brain. It is. I realised that with dyslexia it can be triggered, as we spoke about Spandau Ballet. Yeah, yeah, where he never used to be dyslexia. No. Then he had a brain tumour. And now became, dyslexia. Yeah, and with my epilepsy, because it's to do with the brain again, all it did was trigger it. Yeah. Triggered it. Dyslexia was always there. Yes. It just made it worse. It triggered it to be able to make it worse. And
but you get nervous, I think, with dyslexia. You know, when I told you about my friend who had to go to be the jeweler. What is it? He was in
jury service.
Jury service. Yeah. dyslexic guy, very successful. Then he had to stand up and take the oath in front of the entire play, and he said he couldn't see it. He couldn't, because you go blind.
Yeah.
You literally go blind when the more nervous you get, the less you're able to see anything.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to explain that, and it used to